In this video, we're going to take a look at how to analyze giving data in the annual fund management project for Racers Edge NXT. So I'm starting here on the giving funds page, and let's say I want to look at ACR giving and ACR donors. So the first thing I can do is I can select ACR here by drawing a box around it. And now I have two options. The first one is to exclude from the toolbar here at the top. Keep an eye on the giving by fund chart. Once I click on exclude on selected, you'll see that I get back some bars that are not ACR giving. And that might seem a little odd at first, but it actually makes sense because donors to the ACR fund have also given to all these other funds. So effectively, by excluding at the top, what we're doing is we're selecting the constituents that gave to ACR, excluding constituents that did not give to ACR, and then what we get back, it's all the transactions for the constituents that gave to ACR. So that includes giving beyond ACR. So now I'm going to show you the second option, which gives us a different result. So I'm going to hit the undo button here. I'm back to the point where I selected ACR. And let's say I just care about ACR gifts only. So I can click here, exclude unselected items. And you'll see this says in the gift table first. So this is going at the transaction level and including gifts to anything else other than ACR. Now that I have just ACR, I can look at giving trends for just ACR. Okay, so I have a big increase apparently through the years, but really it looks like 2017 was an anomaly, because if I just look at 2018 versus 16, there's a slight increase from that point. So what this allows us to do, these different choices of selection allow us to look at things in terms of history and context, overarching context for donors, or just look at specific transactions. So just remember, when you're looking at donor information, go to the top. When you're looking at transactional information such as giving, multiple constituent codes, multiple degrees, go to the chart toolbar. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you in this video is, let me restore everything. I'm gonna quickly cover these different selection modes on the drop down toolbar. So the default mode and the one that you normally want to be on is the replace mode, because that does exactly that. It overrides and replaces your previous selection. So I have ACR selected. Now I select CNE or CEN, sorry, and that becomes selected. I can select LEN here. That becomes selected now, and so on. Let me go back to the beginning, restore and select all. The next selection mode, it's going to be add. So with add, what I can do is I can start by selecting none, and that's going to unselect everything, and from that point I can add to my selection. So for example, if I want to select CN and ACR, they're not next to each other, but by using the add selection mode, I can select different things. Like that. Similarly, if I go back, I can, if I start with everything selected and restored, I can subtract. So this is helpful to say, you know, there's these funds at the bottom that are really outside my responsibilities. They're managed by someone else, so I can subtract those. And I could subtract some further. Okay, and the last thing is the intersect selection mode, which actually just works when you have overlap in the values inside two different charts. So for example, I can intersect within the same chart. So, you know, there's GIFs that are going to be to ACR, so I've selected those GIFs. If I try to intersect that with CCU, for example, nothing is going to get selected because a GIF can be only to ACR or only to CCU. But I can use the intersect mode, and it's quite powerful across different categories. So for example, I can select ACR, and then I can go to the giving history page, and if I'm interested in just a specific year for ACR, I can click on say 2017. So now I have the overlap of the characteristics that I selected, ACR and 2017. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you in this video. Remember always to go back to the replace mode, because that's intuitively what we expect, and if you're in the wrong mode, you might have a result that does not make sense. Okay, so always go back to the replace mode. Always restart by clicking restore excluded and select all. 2 key tips. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks.